In the 80s, there was a long drought without the Addams Family. Those poor 80s kids had to live off of 20-year-old reruns and badly animated cartoons. Until the 1990s, the renaissance of the Addams Family. I'm Eva, and this is part 2 of an unhinged deep dive into every Addams Family adaptation. If you didn't watch part 1, it will be linked in the description. And spoiler alert, because I will be going over some of the plots of these films and TV shows. Now let's get into the video. This adaptation is titled The Addams Family and is from 1991. It's the first adaptation to be a feature-length film on the big screen, starring Raul Julia as Gomez and Angelica Houston as Morticia. This version also switches up the family tree again, so I'll explain that. Gomez and Morticia are the parents of Wednesday and Pugsley. Wednesday is the eldest child this time. Grandmama is Morticia's mother this time, so bye-bye Granny Frump. And I guess that makes Gomez an orphan? Instead of being Morticia's uncle, Uncle Fester is now Gomez's brother, making him Wednesday and Pugsley's uncle. And cousin is still Gomez's cousin, of course. The plot of this movie is that Uncle Fester has been missing for 25 years in the Bermuda Triangle, and the family wishes that he would come back. Gomez's lawyer Tully hates the Addams family and he wants to steal their money. So he meets up with some woman and her son that looks like Uncle Fester to steal their money. A robbery plot once again. So the whole movie is about the Uncle Fester lookalike trying to get close to the Addams family so he can rob them, but he actually starts to get closer to them. Tully and the woman are able to get the Addams family's house, but Gomez and Morticia get it back with the help of the Uncle Fester lookalike, which they find out was Uncle Fester the whole time, but he just lost his memory when he went to the Bermuda Triangle. By the end of the movie, he remembers everything and he comes to live with the Addams family permanently. Uncle Fester is also played by Christopher Lloyd. I did not even notice that at first. Now this is one of the most iconic adaptations of the Addams Family for many reasons, and I love it very much. The first thing that makes this movie amazing is Gomez and Morticia's romance. This movie does what the 1964 show couldn't do with their romance. In the 1964 show, we never see Morticia or Gomez actually kiss. Gomez just kisses her arm. That was even controversial for the time, of course, because it was the 60s. In the 1991 film, Gomez and Morticia be going crazy. For example, the charity auction scene. Just watch.
35! It is divine.
50.
I have $50,000.
Your turn, my ecstasy.
50,000 going once, 50,000 going twice.
As you can see, they definitely amped up Gomez and Morticia's passion in their relationship. That's probably why it's PG-13. That's what makes this movie great though. Julia and Houston have great chemistry and they're definitely up there with Aston and Jones for best Gomez and Morticia.
Gomez.
Querida.
Last night you were unhinged. You were like some desperate howling demon. You frightened me. Do it again.
They also most definitely yesified Gomez again. Gomez is supposed to be a short king and Raul Julia is like 6'2". I'll let that slide though because he's a great Gomez. They did actually make Morticia accurate though because Angelica Houston is 5'10", so they're just both tall now. This is also the first time that an actual Hispanic person is casted to play Gomez because Raul Julia is Puerto Rican. I don't think that he was originally supposed to be Hispanic though because they have no names in the comics. In the 1960s series, they made him Spanish, so I assume that's why they cast Hispanic and specifically Latino actors to play him in recent years. It's very cool to see Hispanic actors being casted to play Gomez though. We love the representation. This movie had way too many gems, from the kids show at school to the party at the Addams family's house. The jokes were really good too, and they actually made me laugh. This adaptation is also where Wednesday's modern personality was born. Christina Ricci mastered the deadpan and unemotional personality of Wednesday that we see in most adaptations moving forward.
What are you, darling? Where's your costume?
This is my costume. I'm a homicidal maniac. They look just like everyone else.
It's pretty cool to see her being used more in this movie. I also love that Cousin It is an extreme player in every version. Bro actually takes Tully's wife when the Addams family has a party for Fester returning. I also like that they finally freed Thing from the box too, because he's able to be in more scenes and interact with the family more. The only bad thing that I can say about this adaptation is that I wish they utilized Pugsley and Lurch more. Lurch never talks in this movie at all. They could have at least gave him one line. I also actually like Grandmama being Gomez's mother more in the other versions, but it doesn't really matter whose mom she is anyway. I would definitely put this one in the That's French tier. It holds a special place in my heart because it's the film that got me into the Addams Family and for making me a Raul Julia fan. This film definitely sparked an Addams Family renaissance because there are so many adaptations in the 90s. And this movie gets even more bonus points because MC Hammer is on the soundtrack and him and Gomez were fighting for Morticia's love in the music video. Hammer also had those kids saying too legit to quit in the music video. It's giving a lot of the early 90s vibes.
I don't think there's a future in rap for me, but if anybody wants to invite me to do a little bit, I'll be glad to do it. But I don't think there would be much of a future in the rap business for me.
The next adaptation is an animated sitcom from 1992 titled The Addams Family, starring John Astin as Gomez and Nancy Linari as Morticia. It ran for 2 seasons. As you can see, Astin is back for his 4th and final time as Gomez, but not his final time in the franchise. More on that later. This is Hanna-Barbera's second attempt at an Addams Family animated series after whatever this was.
But business is business.
But it's actually pretty good. The art style is actually different from the comics and the other cartoon versions from before. It looks more like the average 90s cartoon. I actually really like this art style. This Gomez might be the most yesified out of all the Addams Family adaptations. First thing first, they got him in a pink suit. I guess him and Wednesday switched outfits. And they let him grow out his sides.
I'll be crying if I look like that too, bro. That's fucked up what they be doing to y'all.
I couldn't find the full show anywhere, but I was able to find some episodes on YouTube, and from what I saw, it was pretty good. The first thing I noticed is that they definitely utilized the kids much more. Every episode, the Addams Family is getting up to their usual antics, and their next door neighbors, the Normayers, hate them and try to stop whatever they're doing because they're haters. The Addams Family are oblivious to the hating as usual. Wednesday and Pugsley also have a lot more plot lines in this too. They finally give Pugsley a distinct personality. He's mostly just really violent, and Wednesday is a mix of her 1991 self and her 1972 self. Wednesday and Pugsley are also friends with the Normayer's son, NJ. He's honestly one of the first people to accept the Addams Family for who they are. I also love how they made Gomez's reaction to Morticia speaking French even more over the top than usual.
Carami, you spoke French. This one. No, this one. No, this one.
What's wrong, darling?
I can't make up my mind. Both arms are so beautiful.
It's very campy. I love how they play the dramatic music. They also did this in the 1991 version too.
To live without you, only that would be torture.
A day alone. Only that would be death.
Knock it off.
They took great things from the 1964 show and the 1991 film and incorporated them really well. My favorite part of the whole show is when the Addams Family has a party and Cousin It literally pulls up with a black queen. I knew Cousin It was black. He just has a blonde silk press. This adaptation might be the most diverse one yet, even more diverse than Wednesday. They even got Addams Family members with locks. That's pretty good for 1992. The only bad thing I'll say about this is that I wish they used Lurch more. He unfortunately never talks, of course. I also noticed that different adaptations sometimes change Fester's personality a bit, and this Fester is actually a really good scientist. I'm pretty sure that he's still Gomez's brother in this, and Grandmama is still Morticia's mother. But overall, I really like this show. It has some pretty funny jokes that actually made me chuckle, so I'll put it in the Are You Unhappy Darling tier.
Good show. Bravo.
But wait a while before letting us down, children. Your father and I are just getting uncomfortable.
The next adaptation is a sequel to the 1991 film and is titled Addams Family Values. It's from 1993. It's all the same cast besides Grandmama, and there are a few new additions to the family. Pubert, the youngest Addams child, Debbie, Fester's wife for a very short period of time, Margaret, It's wife. Remember when I said Cousin It took Tully's wife? Yeah, that's her. And their son, What Addams. They had him around the same time that Morticia and Gomez had Pubert. The plot of this one is that Morticia and Gomez have a new baby, Pubert, and Wednesday and Pugsley are jealous that the baby's getting so much attention, so they try to kill him. This is too much for Gomez and Morticia to handle, so they get a babysitter for their kids. And the babysitter is the absolute girl boss, Miss Debbie Jelinski, played by Joanne Cusack. Debbie is basically a gold digger, and she's only doing this job so she can marry Uncle Fester and then kill him to get his money. So she's a serial killer too. She convinces Gomez and Morticia to send Wednesday and Pugsley off to summer camp so she doesn't have to take care of them. And the summer camp storyline is so fun. They're in there with a bunch of uptight rich people who are a bit prejudiced. Well, no, actually very prejudiced.
And, I'm still not sure just how to pronounce this. Jamal?
Jamal?
Whatever.
Meanwhile, Debbie is trying to seduce Uncle Fester so she can marry him. And it works very well because Fester acts like he never felt the touch of a woman. Well, maybe he hasn't. But they end up getting married and Debbie attempts to kill Fester to get to the bag, but it doesn't work because he's pretty much indestructible and has electricity powers. Since Debbie can't get rid of Fester, she stops him from seeing the family and tries to normify him. And since Fester is so down bad, he does anything that Debbie says.
Let me hear this from his own lips.
His lips are busy.
You want to talk to these people?
Debbie. Go away!
Everyone gets depressed because the family is split apart. Gomez is dying from a broken heart, and poor baby Pubert is sick and looks like this. Then my favorite scene happens. Gomez singing Swing Low Sweet Chariot.
My baby is ill, and my husband is dying. Oh, Mama, what shall I do?
Well, you have a black dress.
Fester escapes Debbie after she tries to nuke him, and then she tries to assassinate the whole family with the electric chair. Right when she's about to pull the lever, Pubert somehow gets there in time to switch the wires and electrocute Debbie instead. Then the family is happily back together. Yay! I feel so bad for Fester, bro. He just wanted love. This version is just peak Addams Family. It's even more over the top than the first film, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. They use Pugsley a lot more in this, which I like. This movie definitely solidifies Wednesday as everyone's favorite Addams Family character too. The summer camp storyline is great, and Wednesday meets a little love interest Joel. There are also a lot more adult jokes in this one too. But not all of the adult jokes are dirty jokes. Some of them are just jokes that will fly over kids' heads.
Mr. Linsky.
Deb. Isn't he a lady killer?
Acquitted.
The 1960s show also did this sometimes too. They actually do a lot of things that the 60s show would have never got away with. Like the family's violence and even the whole Thanksgiving play at summer camp. I love Debbie, she's such an iconic villain. She honestly would have fit right into the Addams Family if she didn't have those pastels in her house. I also like that this movie isn't so focused on Gomez and Morticia because that's usually how the live action adaptations are. We get to see more from Uncle Fester and the children in this. Also, I love Cousin It's Baby, he's really cute. The only bad thing that I have to say about this is that I wish they used Lurch and Grandmama more. I miss Lurch so much. This one's definitely going into Dad's French tier and it's going above the other two adaptations because I like this the most. It's one of the only movie sequels that I think is better than the original. It's sad that they didn't get to make a third movie. They were planning on making it, but Raul Julia unfortunately passed away the year after it was released and the cast didn't want to reprise their roles out of respect for him. Instead of getting a third movie to make the two 90s films a trilogy, we got a straight-to-DVD film in 1998 titled Addams Family Reunion, starring Tim Curry as Gomez and Daryl Hannah as Morticia. The only actor that's the same from the last movie is Lurch. We have a few new additions to the family too. Gomez and Fester's grandparents, great-grandmama, and great-grandpapa Addams. The plot of this movie is about Gomez's grandparents coming to visit and they become sick with Alzheimer's, a disease that makes them act normal. This makes them do normal stuff like golfing and enjoying a nice vacation. This makes Gomez and Morticia concerned, but what confuses me is that they're concerned about his grandparents' ballroom dancing. But don't Gomez and Morticia love ballroom dancing? But anyways, the Addamses get invited to a family reunion and it's the wrong family. The invitation was supposed to go to the Addams family with one D, but it got mixed up in the mail. So they just think it was a mistake that they spelled their name wrong. They end up going thinking that it's their real family, and the Addamses with one D think they're very crazy, of course. The movie has a lot of really bad CGI, but that's understandable for a movie from 1998, but it's like really bad. I can tell that they were trying to get the vibe that the previous two films had. This Wednesday uses the deadpan personality from the two previous films too. The fake mustache that they had on Gomez is really bad too. And Gomez smokes a cigarette instead of a cigar. Why? I don't know. I'm also not sure what accent Curry is trying to do in this.
Gomez Addams, what an honor indeed.
I know that he's British, but like, what's going on? They give Pugsley a love interest in this movie, which is kind of similar to when they give Wednesday a love interest in the 1993 film. Curry and Daryl's chemistry is alright. It gets the job done, but it's no Aston and Jones or Julia and Houston.
Oh, I'm so glad they came to stay with us for a while.
Bro, what did I just watch? One of the other guys from the Addams family, the one with 1D, Philip Addams, tries to fight Gomez because he thinks that Gomez is trying to take the money from his father's will. Gomez beats him up and he and Morticia get arrested. CPS gets the kids too. They're able to get out of jail because Walter Addams, the dad of Philip, didn't want him to get away with getting innocent people arrested. This movie is trash, to be honest. They could have used the kids in a better way because the whole movie they're just talking to the girl that Pugsley had a crush on and playing with the other Addams kids. Fester's plot is trash too. He just makes a dog in a lab that can attack people when he says good boy. The dog also has really bad CGI. And Grandmama didn't even come to the family reunion. She was at home the whole time. A part of the movie that really threw me off was when Gomez was giving a speech about how the Addams family was superior and different in comparison to other families.
And what is it that makes us the truly different people we are? Ancestry. The very thing that separates us from the lower animals.
But this doesn't make sense to me because the Addams family isn't supposed to know that they're different. They think that they're just a normal family. So why is Tim Curry telling me that they're weird? We already know that. I'm gonna put this in Has the Planet Gone Mad tier because this was honestly a hard to watch. Curry is probably the most famous actor to play Gomez. I don't know why he did this trash movie.
Ba-ba-ba-boom. 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 Ba-ba-ba-boom.
At first, I was only gonna do 4 adaptations in this part, but this one is also in the 90s, so I just added it. The next adaptation is a sitcom from 1998 titled The New Addams Family. And yes, it's actually new this time, not like the other quote-unquote new Addams Family. It stars Glenn Tenero as Gomez and Ellie Harvey as Morticia. They actually have the same actress playing Wednesday from the 1998 film, and that film was made to promote this show. Most of the episodes are pretty much remixes of the 1964 show with a few new things sprinkled in. It's pretty much just a reboot with the same plots, the same titles, even some of the same dialogue. The only differences that I noticed are that Wednesday is older and she acts more like her 90s version than the 60s version. Fester is Gomez's brother in this one too, but Grandmama is Gomez's mother again. Gomez and Morticia actually kiss in this one and they really be going crazy. Not as much as the 1991 film, but it really had me dying.
Clay drives me wild.
Clay drives me wild is the craziest line I ever heard. They also have more adult jokes that the 1964 show alluded to, but obviously couldn't do. I don't know if this was on purpose, but Taranto really sounds like John Astin. It's kind of crazy.
Radiant beauty. Your
captivating allure drew me like honey to a suckle. Honey to a suckle. You're right, that is embarrassing.
Your radiant beauty.
Your captivating allure drew me to you like honey to a suckle. Honey to a suckle?
And speaking of John Astin, he actually made a few cameos in this show. Not as Gomez, but as great-grandpapa Addams, or Mortimer Addams, Gomez and Fester's grandfather, making him Wednesday and Pugsley's great-grandfather.
I'm back!
I kind of love that he and Gomez are pretty much the exact same person. I wish that they could have got Carolyn Jones to come back for a cameo, but she unfortunately passed away in 1983. Also, the backstory of Gomez being Morticia is a bit different in this because Fester's Gomez's brother now, and they made Ophelia like really annoying. She's more uptight and rude, but before she was just a little silly. I do like that the kids have a lot more screen time in this one, even though I didn't really like their plots too much. They also brought back Lurch saying "you rain, guys." This is a beautiful moment. I don't like the makeup on Fester in this. He is blue. Why? But other than that, the show is fine. The episodes are pretty hit or miss. Some of the original jokes are funny, but most of the good stuff is just remakes from the 1964 show. It's fine for a reboot though. I'll put it in the pastels tier. But this just makes me really want to watch the 1964 show again. So we're at the end of the video, but there's still 3 more adaptations to go over. The last 3 will be in part 3 of this series. So make sure to like and subscribe to see it. And before then, I'm going to make a video specifically about Gomez, so be on the lookout for that. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in part 3 of an unhinged deep dive into every Addams Family adaptation.